Again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. And for those that don't know me, I'm an extension specialist at NC State, which is kind of nice because I'm kind of right on the frontier of biofuels activity in the state, at least for people that work through cooperative extension. So I get all the phone calls that are, hey, why can't we take kudzu and make biofuel out of that? Or it might be pine cones, or it might be cucumbers that people leave in their field that are rotting. Why can't we collect that stuff and make biofuels? So what I want to take a few minutes is talk about what some of these issues are, what some of these roadblocks are, and then the rest of the field day is kind of set up that you'll see some of our success stories and some of our progress with these crops. So first, probably one of the biggest hurdles we face is from a basic science standpoint. When you talk about high yielding crops, you're usually talking about a cellulosic crop. Well, when we talk about breaking down that crop and getting it into something we can convert into ethanol, we have to get to sugar. So to get to that sugar, first thing we have to do is we have to break up all the structure of that crop, get rid of the lignin, everything that makes that crop want to grow upright and be strong, be healthy. We've got to break that down. So kind of crush the skeleton of the plant, and that'll give us access to the cellulose. Well, the problem with the cellulose is then we have all these chains of sugar stuck together with really complex bonds that are really hard to break. So then we have to do a lot of processing to break those bonds, to break up the cellulose to get us to a fermentable sugar. A lot of times people are looking at heat and pressure to do that. Anytime we talk about heat and pressure and processing, that's just adding cost to it. So that's why cellulosic biomass stays at around $5 per gallon to produce right now. The other thing that we kind of fight with the cellulosic biomass is a lot of these crops are kind of new. People haven't grown them a lot. If you look at some of the forage sorghums that we've grown this year, that it looks really good. 14-foot tall stalks out here in the field. Some of these big grasses in the front. You know, who's seen the machine that harvests that equipment? It doesn't really exist yet. So either we're using really inefficient equipment, or we're having to kind of design new equipment to meet that goal. So we're trying to get it down to where, from a production standpoint, it's something people can start producing and expecting an economic return. And then the final thing is people say, well, what is the economic return? I see this switchgrass that y'all have grown and it looks great. It looks like something I'd like to grow, and maybe I could yield a lot and make some money. But what's that market opportunity? Certainly we don't have the biorefining capacity in the state yet to do that. So one thing that we're really focused on is developing what I call transitional markets for biofuels crops. And one thing that will be going on here at the Williamsdale farm over this winter is the North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund has funded a pellet mill that we'll be putting in here to take switchgrass and other like cotton stalks and things like that, and to convert them into energy pellets that we can burn to heat greenhouses. I guess we could also cure tobacco with it, heat schools, boiler systems, all types of things like that. So we recognize that's not the ideal market, that's not the ethanol market, but it does give us a reason to start growing some of these crops and show big biorefineries that we can grow this here in the state, and our farmers do a good job of it. Another transitional market example I'll give you real quick is a lot of people focus on biodiesel, growing canola for biodiesel and whatnot. One thing we're looking at now is maybe instead of making biodiesel, why not make an edible oil that you sell to a restaurant so they can fry fish or chicken or whatever their choice may be. But instead of selling it to them, maybe you just lease them the oil so we get it back, and then we can convert that used oil into biodiesel. So you're kind of generating two product streams from a single crop. And so these transitional markets will kind of help build the agricultural infrastructure, get people interested in developing new equipment, and get farmers growing the crops, because that's one thing we really want to see. Hopefully today you'll get some ideas about how you can grow some of these crops and some of the marketing opportunities for them today. So with that, okay, I'll turn it back over to Sylvia. Thank you.